What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, bringing you a very tasty, scrumptious, juicy video full of drama, full of spilt tea, because Genshin Impact patch 1.5 has been leaked all over the place. And in this video, I want to cover the drama between Mihoyo versus the data mining / leaker community and the overall input of the Genshin Impact community on Twitter, on Reddit, on Discord, on Twitch, on YouTube, on TikTok. It's all over the place. So where do we start? As you guys know, patch 1.4 went live not too long ago, but at the exact same time, we were flooded with patch 1.5 leaks and information, and essentially everything coming in patch 1.5 has already been spilled all over the tea table. So how did Mihoyo respond to this? They put out an official Twitter statement saying, "Recently, we discovered the dissemination of leaked version 1.5 content. Such behavior not only disrupts our plans to develop and promote the new version, but also causes some travelers to have misconceptions about the content of the new version. Here, we kindly ask for the support and help of all travelers to resist leaks and maintain a fair gaming environment. We will also increase our efforts to deal with such illegal disclosures." Now, before we go any further, let me preface this video as I am someone that has consumed an insane amount of leaks. I'm very much in the know when it comes with leaks. However, I do not share or spread this information to my audience because I'm very much aware. Let's say, for example, let's use this analogy. Genshin Impact is an anime. I'm at the end game of Genshin Impact, so I'm very impatient and I want to be in the know. So this is the same as me being caught up to the anime, but I want to know what comes next in the story, so I go ahead and I read the manga. Now, I've read the manga, I've consumed the manga, I'm now in the know. I have the opportunity, and I'm not taking it because it's kind of a douchebag thing to do, but I have the opportunity of spreading all of what's going to happen in the manga and spoiling people who are anime only. Now, people do seem to forget about this, but a lot of people don't want to know about leaks. A lot of people don't want to be spoiled, and they want to enjoy the hype as Mihoyo plans it, because let's be real, the way they publish PR and hype trailers and the way they do content, it is very exciting when they do it, and the trailers look very fancy, and they have a lot of people working on that stuff. All of that gets screwed over because of leaks. Now, this is not necessary to defend leaks or to promote leaks or to bash against leaks or to defend Mihoyo or to promote Mihoyo or bash against Mihoyo, but there are two sides of the coin that people really do need to look at before they start getting riled up and getting angry. Some people are okay with that. Some anime watchers only might not have access to the manga and they want to be spoiled. But at the same time, there's two sides of the community. People who want to be spoiled, people who don't want to be spoiled. And there are good things and bad things to leaks, which is what I want to break down in this video. And also how Mihoyo can definitely up their game in clamping down on leaks and what they can do for the community to stop pissing them off. So let's begin. So, the very first thing that is good about leaks, which is something I touched on already, is for impatient people like myself, or the manga readers in this analogy, it builds up hype for them. It keeps them excited, keeps them on their toes, and that's what we want. The other thing is for low tier spenders, people who are F2P, even people who are giga spenders like myself, it's very useful to know what characters or what materials rather I need for the characters to ascend, what artifacts I need, especially as a content creator. But even stripping away the content creator title, as an end game player, I want to max my character as soon as I get them. I don't want to wait another 2, 3, 4 weeks of farming before I can actually use that character in end game content. I want it like that. As soon as I pull for that, I spend money on that character. I want to make sure I have that character fully optimized as soon as I summon for that character. And I can't do that without the help of leaks and showing what materials they need, what I need to farm, without looking at their information, their ability, so I can in advance farm the artifact sets that I want to have for them. It also allows low tier spenders to manage their primo gems, which is obviously not the best thing for, let's say, business reasons for Mihoyo, but for ethical reasons to help players manage their resources better. This is a very, very good thing that leakers have brought upon the community, is allowing people to prepare in advance. Again, it builds hype and satisfies impatient players like myself. Those are the main pros for leaks. Now, they are very, very big pros, so in terms of quality of pros, I would say they're quite big. But in terms of quantity of negatives for leaks, there is a lot, and I mean a lot of them. Now, this is something, again, the Mihoyo tweet already addressed, is that recently we have discovered blah, 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 blah. Such behavior not only disrupts our plans to develop and also promote the new version, but also causes travelers to have misconceptions about the content of the new version. All of that, let's be real, is the truth. It definitely hinders development. It definitely hinders promotion, especially promotion. Mihoyo is one of the best companies when it comes to promoting characters and generating hype with their trailers. Let's be real, guys. Their trailers, some of them are bangers. The music they put out on their bangers. And the voice actors they bring, all of this hard work that is done behind the scenes. And you have to be realistic here. And this is something I would say a lot of younger people don't understand, is that there are real people working on this. They are working day and day night, blood, sweat and tears going into this to be able to generate hype content, to be able to generate good content for people without it getting spoiled. And they're not necessarily all billionaires or millionaires that people have this misconception of. Mihoyo is a big company. The top dogs are making a lot of money. But you got to remember, the little guys in that company who are making all of this actually happen, they are getting screwed over. Their hard work is getting screwed over. And I hate to see when people just sweep this under the rug because they don't really understand how the business side of thing works. You have every piece of the puzzle that makes up Mihoyo that want to have the community excited by their work, not spoiled by leakers. So this is something that people really undermine, is that, again, it's touching on the thing, people who are anime only don't want to be spoiled by the manga readers necessarily, and they want to have that hype. They want to consume the hype of promotional material, of new trailers, of new character teasers with the rest of the community. And the reality is there is a divide, right? Because at the end of the day, manga readers, anime watchers, there's always going to be a divide based on how patient people can be. But the reality is, if there were no leakers, then there would be no option of the manga, and then everyone would have to consume the promotional material and hype at the same time, which in turn normally generates way more hype than ever. When everyone can get hyped at the same time, for me as a content creator and also as just someone who loves the game, again, that is the best kind of hype. The more the merrier, but the leaks divide that, and that is something that for the longevity of the game is not good. If you have experienced lots of gacha games, I'm sure most people understand the importance of obviously having leaks to help you build your characters if you're an endgame player, but in terms of promotional material and in terms of hyping up the player base, it's always better when it's done by the developer themselves rather than a third-party leaker. It is always better to have it done that way in terms of your enjoyment in the game. The next thing is misconceptions. If we go back to this Mr. Controversial character here and some of the drama I've been involved in the past, let's say there was a Star Wars fan that came after me who was angry that I promoted Zhongli as a good character when he came out beforehand. There was a very big difference, which I found out after looking at some of this guy's videos, is that he was farming the completely wrong set. Even though he was planning to Constellation 6 his character, pull the 5-star weapon, he had been misinformed because of the leaks. He had seen leaks which were clearly showing Zhongli using physical damage, using the Belied set, the retracing Belied to 1v1 Child, and because of that, he was thinking or under the impression, yes, I'm gonna spend all of my resin and farm retracing Belied. Lo and behold, when Zhongli comes out, maybe a week or two before he came out, he was adjusted severely and very much pushed in the direction of farming geo damage. Now, when this guy got a hold of his Zhongli, he only had retracing Belied, and he had terrible geo damage artifacts, and then when he tried the geo damage artifacts, which were at like level 12, level 3, level 4, he was like, this character sucks! This character is terrible! I can't use my retracing Belied, and he got angry. And this mentality spread across the community. People were building him wrong because so many other content creators, so many YouTubers were looking at the leaks and putting out terrible recommendations for the builds because it was a very earlier build of Zhongli that they were referencing. And then as you saw, the massive controversy, lots of blowing up, lots of arguments, and people still to this day are arguing over Zhongli pre-patch, post-patch, and now we just have an overpowered character as a result of all of this. And at the same time, you can say because of the standard that Zhongli was put up to, all the characters we've had now are beginning to power creep all the previous ones. Let's take a look at Keqing, even Diluc, even Tartaglia. They have all essentially been power crept by the likes of Xiao, by Ganyu, and also by Hu Tao. Diluc maybe not so much, but at the same time, if you take a look at comparisons between the three pyro carries, Diluc, Klee, and also Hu Tao, Diluc is the lowest DPS, and when I say DPS, I mean damage per second, not damage per hit, but damage per second. He is the lowest of those three characters already, so the power creep is happening. And then when the power creep happens, but the content gets easier, that creates a big disparity, and that's a big no-no. When I say content gets easier, guys, please remember, again, you got to take a step back and think in the shoes of other people. There are people out there who could not beat the Child Tartaglia boss fight, so they had to nerf that in the game. This is one of the biggest gacha games of all time. It is a very, very successful gacha game, and there's so many players, console players, mobile players, PC players, everyone's playing at different levels. This might be some people's very first gacha games, and because of that, you have to understand this player base is not your standard gacha game player base. This is a very mainstream game now, and there's so many people from different backgrounds who don't understand gacha games coming in, weighing in with their opinion, with no experience of gacha games and how they work at all, and no understanding of why power creep is a bad thing. And if anyone is in denial about power creep right now, you gotta snap out of it, okay? Zhongli is a huge power creep right now. His buffs were so unwarranted. We did not need this level of buffs. Maybe he needed a few buffs, but the buffs he has now makes him arguably the strongest or most useful character in the game, and that's a no bueno. But ultimately, guys, there will always be lots of people unhappy or happy, regardless of leaks or not, and regardless of their understanding of how to build characters. But the biggest thing is the misconception. Remember all this stuff as well, guys, like Ayaka is coming for free at AR42. We're in patch 1.4, there's no Ayaka. People thought Inazuma was coming in patch 1.1 because of leaks, because of misinformation flying around. And this word, misinformation, is something that so many YouTubers are making an insane amount of profit off. If I had to say Mr. Chess Respawn, this guy literally climbed a mountain and pretended that his chest respawned. Literally in the video say, oh, lo and behold, my chest respawned. He lied to hundreds of thousands of people. And people genuinely believe chest respawn. People genuinely believed Ayaka was coming for free at AR42. And you know who has to clean up the mess? People who are actually knowledgeable and understand what's happening in the game. People who know that that was BS. People who know that was a lie, because other content creators, they have to deal with this spillover of misinformation. You have all these comments like, oh my god, why do you not check your chests when the chests respawn? But the chests don't respawn. Chests don't respawn, and some people are so hell-bent on believing the misinformation because it came from XYZ content creator, and then other people have to deal with that. And that is not something anyone should have to deal with, let alone Mihoyo has to deal with either. And it's just a pain in the ass. So that is something that is very much why I'm also anti-leaks, is because the spread of misinformation. I would say the same person, if I'm not mistaken, made build guides on Zhongli, made build guides on Ganyu, made build guides on Xiao before they even came out. And some of them had some of the most terrible build recommendations in there. Again, with belied or physical damage Zhongli, and that spread the misconception that Zhongli was going to be a physical damage main DPS carry, and a lot of people were upset when it turned out he was actually a geo damage character or a support character. So this misconception is a very big no-no that is not good for Mihoyo, not good for the community, not good for content creators that have to clean up after other content creators, a very disgusting mess that they leave out there. And the other thing is, it is technically an unfair advantage, because knowledge is power at the end of the day. Knowledge in this case is in being in the know with leaks, and if you are in the know with leaks, you will have this advantage over all the other people who are not in the know. You will have all these artifacts, you will have all these characters ready at level 80 or 70 or 90, way ahead of casual players. And then when casual players see this, they're going to see the disparity. And when players see the disparity, that breeds into toxicity. And people are like, why don't I have that? Why does that person have that? That's where jealousy starts coming out from. And then people start fighting because they can't control their emotions in that regard. And the final thing is people don't like to have accountability. So when it comes to misinformation, when it comes to being caught leaking, right? I saw one of the biggest leaking Twitter accounts, I think it was called Genshin Intel. Genshin Intel responded to this tweet, and their response was something along the lines of, I like you, Mihoyo, or something like that. It's like they were pro Mihoyo at the start of their tweet because they deactivated their account now, so the tweet is gone. And then the second half of the tweet was like, but you should blame yourselves. Like, you are to blame for this because you made this information public to data miners or leakers. And it's victim blaming in this case. Believe it or not, Mihoyo is the victim. Because what this person did is they're essentially saying is Mihoyo made some food, right? Let's say the content was food. Mihoyo made some food. They let the food out to cool in the open because it's burning hot. And then someone breaks into Mihoyo's home, takes the food, and then starts sharing it with everyone outside. Right? That's the attitude that they had there. And the accountability is not there. People should not be data mining or leaking in the first place. That is not a valid excuse. That is victim blaming. You should not break the law or break the rules and then blame the company or blame the victim because you broke the rules. That is something very bizarre to me, and it's a very toxic mentality. And I can guarantee you, I understand where they're coming from, because I used to play League of Legends. And I would never blame myself. I would always blame my teammates for my own mistakes or my own wrongdoings. And this is something that just breeds more toxicity. Because when you see a big account like that, endorsing that behavior, people are going to start copying that. People are going to be sheep and follow that. Instead of thinking for themselves, they're going to be sheep. They're going to follow that behavior. They're going to be toxic, and they're going to start being like, oh, why didn't you do this, Mihoyo? You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have let the leakers do this. You should have clapped all the leakers earlier. But when you have thousands of people trying to break into the servers, trying to leak the servers, trying to data mine at the same time, yeah, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. People think it's easy just because they're rich. It's not easy. Every single gacha game has to deal with leakers. Every single gacha game has leakers. And no matter how much money they have, leakers will always find a way to get in there. And that's just the reality. And it's a shame for the people who don't want to be spoiled and that get spoiled. But it's also a good thing for the people who want to prepare their resources and manage their primo gems. So there's always two sides of the coin. I have benefited from the management of resources, management of primo gems, being in the know. I enjoy being in the know. I like having my artifacts ready. But at the same time, I hate it. I absolutely hate it when certain leakers, certain content creators just take a look at the leaks, take them at face value, and literally put out some of the most garbage takes out there, some of the most garbage recommendations. Some of them are just flat out lies, flat out misinformation, and they're just raking in the money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands being made of misinformation and the spread of BS, and just people just eating it up. And they continue to regurgitate that information. Other content creators, communities, it's just so obnoxious. It's just so unbelievably obnoxious. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it's terrible. Now, the other controversies that I wanted to cover in this video, two-factor authentication. This is something that has to happen. We have seen now that people are getting hacked left, right, center. Mihoyo needs to address this first. They do need to get their priorities straight. We do need 2FA, we need two-factor authentication to protect our accounts. I would be so pissed if someone went into my account and destroyed all of my artifacts or fed all my artifacts away. All my hard-earned work and time and effort I put in there, gone. Just like that, all my weapons fed away. That is happening right now because we don't have two-factor authentication. And we need that. The other thing is we need a better roadmap, Mihoyo. One of the ways to quash out leaks is to basically give the benefit of leaks to the people that want it anyway. And everyone can benefit from knowing what they need to be farming. Everyone can benefit from knowing what artifacts are going to be good on the characters. Everyone can know that if you just told them. It doesn't have to come from leaks. It can just come from you guys. We can have a better roadmap. And this is beneficial to everyone. The only people that it might not be beneficial to is the small amount of resin or maybe not small, but the large amount of resin that gets lost from low spenders, even high spenders that are refilling constantly, maybe building the wrong thing, maybe farming the wrong thing because they don't know what to farm for because you're not telling us. But that at the same time depletes the enjoyment of players who want to instantly build their characters. And for the people who want to instantly build their characters, I would say it's safe to say a lot of them are high spending players, and you don't want to upset your high spending players. If high spending players don't know what to farm for, that's not good for the longevity of any gacha game, let alone Genshin Impact. So for me, a roadmap is absolutely necessary for us to know what's coming, how to manage our primo gems. It doesn't have to be like 7 patches in advance. Just let us know what's coming in the next patch, or maybe 1 or 2 patches, or what we should be ready for. Because 1 week, not even 1 week, these people don't even give us 1 week before a character comes out. Maybe 3 days, 2 days before we know what to farm, before we know what the character actually does. And that's just not good enough. That is not enough to prepare for a character. And that, I don't ethically agree with, is a good thing from Mihoyo. And yes, that is basically my rant. A big rant. There's a lot of stuff I am okay with when it comes to leaks, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm very much anti-leak at the same time. So to summarize, leaks can build hype for the right people, but only for the right people, guys. Remember, there are people out there who don't want to be spoiled, and people are just forcing those spoilers onto them because it's all over the place. If you're part of Twitter, you can't just say the argument, oh, just don't look at Twitter, because that's just stupid. People should be able to have the right to look at Twitter without being spoiled with all the leaks going everywhere. But this outburst of 1.5 leaks was genuinely everywhere, and it was so hard to avoid because you have people who go into chats or Discord specifically like, haha, I know about the leaks, did you know? You know what, I'm just going to tell you. So it looks like I have some sort of knowledge and power. It's a bit of an ego trip for some people, and that's very annoying. It allows you to, the other positive is it allows you to prepare for resources, allows you to manage primo gems, and it satisfies impatient players like myself. But the anti-leaks is that it creates a huge divide in the player base. It is an unfair advantage, whether you like it or not. Being in the know is an unfair advantage over all the people who are not in the know, and then there will always be lots of people unhappy, which is basically the divide. There are going to be people who are happy, unhappy. Whatever you do, there's no correct solution. The spread of misinformation and the misconceptions that come out from it are the biggest L's that you can take from leaks. Again, misinformation like chest respawning, how to get 500% better rates on your gacha banners, how to get Ayaka for free at AR42, Inazuma patch 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Every patch is Inazuma, right? Every patch is Inazuma is coming for certain YouTubers that like to make tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars off naive viewers. And then others have to suffer and clean up that bullshit for them. Yes, I finally swore in the video. People like myself, people like other content creators have to clean up that BS that is going around, that have to re-inform the people who are being misled by the Jesus of misinformation and the Moses of misinformation. All these people that spread misinformation to generate revenue, it's just a pain in the ass when we have to clean up for it. And again, if we take a look back for the misconceptions, Zhongli and physical damage, people who are looking at leaks and recommended physical damage build and retracing Belied for Zhongli when he was a geo damage character or a support character, those people are very responsible for a lot of the Zhongli backlash. And they don't want to take accountability of all of that misinformation, because I'm sure all of that video nonsense is still out there. I'm sure all that information, all those misinformation, all those tweets, all those Discord servers, all those Discord messages that were sent spreading misinformation, spreading lies, are still out there. I'm almost certain of it. And at the end of the day, guys, there is no one really to blame other than, one, the lack of information and transparency from Mihoyo, and 2, the leakers who insist on breaking in and spreading everything to everyone and are kind of trying to play the, what's the word, the vigilante. They're trying to be vigilantes of Genshin Impact, thinking they have some sort of noble cause that they're giving to everyone. And of course, I'm not really against or for leaks. I can see the benefits and negatives to both sides, and I do urge people to try and look at both sides of the coin. Remember, there are real people involved in this. When you say Mihoyo, guys, it's not necessarily just one big massive monster. It's actually a big massive monster comprised of a lot, and I mean a lot, of employees who are not being paid a big fat wage, who are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into creating this content for you guys, which is technically available for free, by the way, guys. It is available for free, believe it or not, and people are still sweeping that under the rug, which doesn't sit right with me. So that is basically everything I wanted to say. It became a rant video in the end. I apologize, but that's just how I am. That's just how it is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was all over the place. It was very chaotic, and that's just what I am, chaotic. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, and bye-bye.